What is going on, Rotogrinders? Dean here, Dean78904. That still is the daily fantasy handle around the industry. It is 5:40. Getting used to this time, 5:40 as far as starting the show. Once again, we have
40.
Okay.
5:40.
¿Qué tiempo hace? No, that's what's the temperature. Never mind. My 4 years of Spanish right down the drain. Wait, ¿qué tiempo hace? Yeah, hace frío, hace calor, hace más o menos. No.
4 años.
My Spanish is rough.
Para español.
Yo no sé.
Español, así.
All right, some Spanish.
4 years. That's cuatro años.
There you go. Yeah. See.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we're talking NBA DFS basketball. It's once again we're starting at 5:40 on the East Coast because some games have dropped. I presume one was a 7 o'clock game, so we're starting tonight at 7:30. We have 5 games in the association going down. Just had news break right before the show as far as all the body parts in Atlanta. We'll talk about in a second. Add one more to the list. Kevin Huerter no longer playing basketball. We're going to be talking a lot of Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, man, it's going to be a good one. This is another one you got to pay attention as always with NBA DFS. There, Chief. How are things? How are things in your world? We're gonna be talking some prize picks as well too. I know that's also your world. That's where the prop shop people. The channel is hopping. By the way, in case at this point everybody knows. I assume everybody knows, but if they don't, just in case, tell them about the prop shop. What is that?
Yeah, prop shop is where we talk all things props on pretty much every site, right? Prize picks, underdog, monkey knife fight, thrive, prize picks, underdog, monkey knife fight. I'm doing that old school chart when you were in school where they wanted you to rearrange everything. How many combinations can you make with this this grouping of words? You know what I'm talking about? Do you remember that? Anyway, it's all critical thinking. Bottom line
dive,
is
dodge, and dip.
Yeah, there you go. Bottom line is, we're involved in those sites, and it's the joint sweat, Dean. I know people have heard me talk about the joint sweat, but it's so fun. There's nothing better to me, Dean, in the prop shop than when the whole prop shop, when we're sweating one person to get it done for us, just one. And so there's been highs and lows. Here's one of the highs. One night, Jason Tatum, and it's a small slate with a whole bunch of random guys playing. So please just follow us here, folks. Random Saturday night. I might have told this story before. We need Jason Tatum to make one free throw after he's missed like 3. Okay, so he's probably shooting like 3 for 6 or something on that night. We need him to make one free throw because the line was set at 3.5. They're blowing out. I don't remember who they were blowing out. If you're in the prop shop or if you're in the live chat, just please let me know who that was. They're blowing this team out. As a matter of fact, I feel like it was OKC now that I'm thinking about it. I think they're blowing out OKC and the starters get subbed. And so we're like, oh my gosh, we're going to miss this 5 out of 5 by one play. Jason Tatum couldn't make his stupid free throws. You know, maximum tilt is on. Jason Tatum, the Boston Celtics give up the lead so much to the bench players that the starters have to come back in the game, and Jason Tatum makes a free throw, Dean. What a night on a Saturday. I mean, exhilarating, Dean, on a Saturday night. We're going to go back.
Take a screenshot of what's going on and throw it on Twitter and show people what they're missing out on, because
yeah,
everybody's probably going crazy and celebrating.
Listen, we go back to Sunday night. We take the under on Dame Lillard fantasy points for the first half. We take the under, Dean, the under. Dame Lillard comes back into the game with 5 minutes left. At the time, Dean, Dame Lillard has 19.5 fantasy points. We're thinking to ourselves, oh boy, this is going to be close. Dame gets a rebound and an assist during that 5-minute span. Dean, do you know how many fantasy points he finishes with?
I don't know. I don't recall this specific example.
Well, he would have gone over. Yeah. But he had a turnover in the midst of all of that. And it saved the night. He finishes with 21 and some change. If he doesn't have the turnover, Dean, we miss out on a 5 for 5. And when that quarter ends, you felt the rush in the prop shop. That is the prop shop, folks. That's the joint sweat in full effect.
Yeah, we're going to be talking prize picks, player props, and of course the DFS slate as well. Plenty of time to get through all of it because, like we said, just 5 games now. We do want you all to join the show. How do you join the show? Well, you're on YouTube. Like, where's the chat at? Find us in the Rotogrinders Discord channel. It doesn't cost you anything. It's a free channel. There are some premium channels, just like Chiefs Prop Shop. It is a free channel to join. Rotogrinders.com/Discord and find us at the top, right next to, I believe, Chiefs Room is the live stream chat. Devin, our producer, multitasker, he's compiling those questions. Whatever you guys want us to talk about, we're happy to talk about. And again, we should have plenty of time in theory. Just a 5-game slate. A lot of dudes out in and out. We have to dissect, kind of break down as far as the minutes, and our projection team is working on that as we speak. I'm sure, especially with Atlanta going on, shuffling all of Herder's minutes to God knows who. We also mentioned the prize picks. Talk about prize picks. Let's go ahead and hit that promo before we get going. Sign up for prize picks today. Use the promo code Grinders with your first deposit for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And should mention prize picks today. They're running their 12 days of Christmas. This is the best one, Chief. What is it? If you spend $25, you get like $5 back. If you spend if you wager up to, you tell me, I think it's wager up to $500, they're going to give you $200 in bonus money. Is that correct? I think that's correct. I want to say I hit my $500 in wagers because, well, I mean, I was fully incentivized. That seems like a pretty good deal. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah, man. If you can get 500 smackaroos in play, they're going to reward you with 200 smackaroos, whether you win or not. So essentially, Dean, all you have to do is try to earn at least $300 back of your 500 that you have in play tonight, and you'll break even, right? Clearly I want you to earn more than 300. I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things, if for some reason you just end up with a rough night, the 200 can make up the difference, because I firmly believe that, on prize picks, especially with the flex option and look, I'll tell you guys how I do. I play 3 flex for some of our NFL stuff, but I'm mostly 2-pick power, 4-pick flex, 5-pick flex. That's most of pretty much what I do. But I mean, it's a great promo. I mean, 500 in play, getting back 200. It's fantastic, Dean. Fantastic. That's 40% of your in-game play.
Well, we'll get this in a second. I want to knock out our prize picks plays that we kind of featured. I know Devin's going to throw up on the screen in a second if he hasn't already. But what's not fantastic is the Hawks just keep losing more and more players. We'll get to the whole list in a second, but they lost Herter before the show. Now, just saw a note there. Yeah, it's confirmed there on Twitter. Bogdanovich was expected to come back. He hasn't played, I think, 3 weeks or so or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He's been downgraded to questionable. So,
boy.
it's going to be the DeLon Wright. Well, John Collins, DeLon Wright.
John Collins. Yeah. If that's the case, I mean, those guys are, dare I say, lock buttons, Dean? It
already is the John Collins show. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But give me what you have. Well, what did you throw to death?
Well, this is important news because my assumption was that Bogdanovich was going to be in play today, so he was one of the guys I was planning on utilizing, and I got him in before the Kevin Herter news dropped. So he was around 24.5 fantasy points, which was it felt like a freebie to me, Dean. In my opinion, it felt like a freebie. Because of the lack of bodies. And I know DeLon Wright was playing, but, I felt like this guy was going to score 15 to 20 real points tonight, right? So that, to me, that was most of his fantasy point production. And so, he is questionable now, which will change things. If he doesn't play, my goodness, it's going to get interesting again. And then the other
Lance
one.
Stevenson might get dusted off. He's back in the league.
He just might. I saw a tweet today from losing to a girl, and I haven't met her personally, but man, she seems pretty clever. At any rate, she said, with all these old players coming back, and big three players, I think she was saying, get the Canes ready, because it's a lot of old players are going to be coming back into the league, possibly on these 10-day contracts. Losing to a girl, check her out. At any rate, also in that same game, Gary Harris. Over 12.5 real points. So that's a little bit of speculation. But, Dean, you have to speculate sometimes early if you really want to get the props in, right? You have to speculate early. I'm speculating that one or both of Cole Anthony and Wendell Carter Jr. will be out. So I am taking Gary Harris over 12.5 points. No secret there. And if you look at his performances the past couple games without those guys, past 5 games, he's been averaging 14.6 anyway. Past 5 games. Past 2 games with those guys out, 20 points to 17 points. I know Dean thinks that Gary Harris is awful. I don't care. I just even hit his point prop. Last 5 games. Some of these were with Carter Jr. and Cole Anthony, but this is 16-14, had a little stinker in there at 6, and then 20 and 17. 12.5 feels too low to me. I also feel like that's somewhat of a freebie, especially now with Atlanta losing more bodies. I love it. So, 12.5, and then something that someone else brought up in the prop shop. I don't remember who it is, and we are going to talk DK and FanDuel. So, don't worry, guys. We're going to give you your salary cap, fantasy sports stuff as well. But they talked about using a lot of same game format, even for NBA right now, because everything's such in flux, right? So, you don't have to, and just like that, Cole and Wendell are out.
Yeah, as expected.
Yeah, they're out. Now, I thought they were going to be out anyway, but they're out. But they brought up the fact that, hey, maybe building same game or a few same game parlays, right? 1 or 2 or 3 guys or something like that in one build on Prize Picks is advantageous for the current climate. I said, that's a brilliant strategy, because once the game starts, they're in. You don't have to worry about it, right? Also, Prize Picks gives you a 10-minute buffer. So when the slate on DK and FanDuel starts at 7, we've got 10 more minutes. Well, what about the Joel Embiid being ruled out at 7:05? Well, guess what? We can go ahead. We don't have to worry about that. We can go ahead and still get some props in, still get some players in, and make up the gap. So that's why I think, especially on Prize Picks, because the other sites don't do this, but on Prize Picks, they give you the 10-minute window to get it in. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. Dean, back to you. And hopefully the next things I'll be talking about will be FanDuel and DraftKings for all of your traditional DFS needs?
I'm just tempted because I know I sent Devin. I was showing him one of my Prize Picks selections today. All mine are just blowing up because I got a 4-teamer with DeLon Wright over 9 points. Okay, he's still playing for the best.
Hey, he'll probably definitely get over 9 now for sure.
Oh yeah. But the rest of this, Bogdanovich over 24.5 points. Well, who knows if he's playing
fantasy points?
Yeah. 19.5 actual points in the bucket for Drew Holiday. I think that's pretty solid. I think that's just wrong. I think that number's incorrect.
Yeah.
Against Houston. No Giannis. We'll talk about that enough. And the last one is
no Bobby Portis either, which is also big.
Over 2.5 threes for Kevin Huerter, which he's not going to make any because he's not playing basketball tonight. And I gave him Bogdanovich with Holiday, and all my picks are basically blowing up my face. Is kind of what I'm getting at. I mean, obviously they just kind of get bumped down, and it's not like you lose.
Well, your threes, but not your twos because they are DMP. If they got to push, you get back like 1.5x. So D, you may want to reload a little bit to make sure you get that $200 promo.
Yeah. What happens to my two? I got $200 here on Holiday and Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich doesn't play. Then what happens? So it gets refunded no matter what?
Right, that's a refund.
Okay.
But if Bogdanovich were to play and you ended up at a push, then you get back 1.5x.
Never really feel good about the not even the midday, but like an hour and a half before the game downgrade the questionable, especially for a guy who has not played for 3-4 weeks or something like that.
Exactly.
Let's talk the DFS slate. And I gave
we might as well start with that game, D, because it's coming pretty much right out of the gate at 7:30.
Well, let's fit because we had Carter and Anthony in. So I want to give the projection team a second on that. Let's kind of start with Cleveland and Boston because they're both starting at 7:30. Let's go to the Cleveland Boston side first. Of course, Cleveland, they're without Jared Allen. They're without Evan Mobley, two of their bigs. Okoro's not playing basketball. Ed Davis doesn't really matter, but he's not playing. Well, he would have filled in some for some minutes. But one guy that would step up is Kevin Love, and he's questionable with his foot. So, yeah. But he looks like a pretty solid. Yeah, it's a mess. As far as the Boston side, some of their secondary pieces, Grant Williams is out, Jabari Parker, Josh Richardson, and Al Horford's out, and Robert Williams is back from his personal issue. And, traditionally this would be a tough matchup against Cleveland. But again, they're without Jared Allen. They're without Evan Mobley. They're two best defensive players. So I think this becomes a pretty good matchup for Robert Williams, who I imagine is going to play a fair bit of minutes as well. All right. So that's where we're at right now as far as this game. And what entices you? What appeals to you? Garland looks great, but he's really, really expensive some places. He's
9,700 on DK.
Life comes at you fast, man. Darius Garland is 9.7K. And I don't know how
world?
I don't know how I get there. I don't know how I do that. You can.
You don't. You hit the X button. I don't care how good Darius Garland is. He should never be more than 7,900, period. At any rate, sorry, Dean, did I cut you off? If I did, my sincerest apologies. I will say this. Man. If Kevin Love does not play tonight,
Jetty Osman.
It's the Luke Cornett show.
Oh, no.
Dean, don't do this. You've seen Luke Cornett gets 30 minutes. It's 30 fantasy points. We've seen this show before. Luke Cornett was a member of the Boston Celtics and the Chicago Bulls, and I think the New York Knicks.
The Knicks, as I remember most, yeah.
Let's see who. But at any rate, Lauri Markkanen would be big time in play here if Kevin Love's out.
Osman's the guy. That's the first one that pops for me in my brain. No, you don't think Jetty Osman's the guy that's most interesting?
No. I like him too, Dean. I'm just saying, Lauri, there would be no one in Lauri's way to kind of take away from what his perceived upside could be, is what I'm saying, right? Mobley and
he hasn't played a minute yet this season, by the way. Just a heads up, he's yet to play a minute in the season in the association. I assume.
They signed him to a 10-day. Yeah, he was in a G League.
Well, they need a live body. Yeah, he's there. He's a warm body.
Yeah, but that's where I am. I mean, I think Lauri would kind of have some form of an unleashing here, where probably plays 35 to 38 minutes. You know what I mean? And he doesn't have Allen and Mobley snatching all his rebounds. He can pick up a few more rebounds, maybe take a few more shots at 6K. I definitely think Laurie could possibly be in line for around 40 fantasy points. But the whole team has got to play well, right? Like, Boston is down, Horford, but overall, their two main pieces are playing.
Yeah.
In Brown and Tatum. So that's kind of the difference where in Cleveland, they've been down Sexton for a while. Rubio is going to step in and I think perform admirably or just fine. Garland's going to play. I mean, Cleveland still got some good pieces here. If Kevin Love plays, I'm a lot more interested in Cleveland as a whole. Not that he's a complete line mover, but he's got enough experience and enough talent. Like, we see what he's doing in limited minutes, right? He's coming out there getting rebounds. And so if he's going to play 30 minutes, and I got him around, I had him for probably 27 to 30 minutes. Like that. And I think the projections team had him there as well. But that's all he needs to get off. And that's going to help keep Cleveland in the game. If he doesn't play, it's a little scary for me there.
Wait, if he plays, he's really interesting, and maybe 25 minutes or so, he can still probably quote unquote get there, get close to there. 1.3.
He's been getting there all season with those minutes.
No, I'm saying 1.3 fantasy points per minute in the season. That's like kind of like what Steph Curry's getting almost. That's DK specific. 1.24 in FanDuel. Of course, he doesn't play that many minutes, but he's also priced accordingly. By the way, we have an if then. Let's pull up our if then, because if Love is out, according to our projection team, we currently don't have Kornet playing any minutes for the record. But if Love is out, we have Kornet playing 20 and projected for around 16 to 17 points. I just don't. I mean, that for me, that's like super ambitious MME stuff. We have Jetty Osman to get to 28 fantasy points, Markkanen to get to 33, 35 on DK, Rubio 35, 36, and Garland 37, 39, which still is just not enough for DK price. FanDuel, fine, sure, yeah, but DK really, really hard to justify. I suppose the raw points can be helpful on this slate. If he puts up like 45, that could be okay in theory, even though it's not this great math play. Denzel Valentine also is available to play this evening. I think we have projected for around 10 minutes or so. Let's see. Yeah, 12. We got Love at 27, Garland 36. Dean Wade's annoying because like you don't really want to roster Dean Wade, but he'll kind of eke his way there, and he probably eats 31, 32, 34 minutes or something like that. But again, not a fun roster, and he's not even stone minimum necessarily. He's 4.8 on FanDuel. On DK, we're looking at 3.8. How much do you need that? I don't know, especially with the Atlanta fallout. Stay tuned as far as that. As far as ownership, and again, this stuff is super fluid, Chief, because information's dropping. We're still an hour and a half from tip of the first game. We're looking 25% ownership on DK for Kevin Love. Again, assuming he plays. Rubio at 20%, Wade at 20, Jetty Osman 18, then Markkanen. Yeah, Garland at less than 4. All for the reasons we're talking about. Like, it's not he's fine, but that price is pretty steep. As far as the Boston side, let's take a look at the ownership here as well.
I'm shocked.
What do you have?
I'm sorry. I was looking at ownership. You go right ahead. Harrison Barnes is at 31%. And I know he's playing big minutes and they're playing the Clippers, but at 7,100, God, that feels
that's too high. I don't like it. Also, Rashawn Holmes is currently questionable, but I feel like I saw somewhere on Twitter that they were speculating he was on track to play. I wish I had that note. Of course, yeah. Sacramento's without David Mitchell.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to run off all the players Sacramento's without, but like that'll take a long time as well. The official Magic starting lineup, by the way, is Gravitz, Harris, Franz Wagner, Okiki, and Lopez. Those guys, some of those guys got a price bump. As
Robin Lopez is in play for what it's worth, but we'll get to that later.
He played a ton of minutes.
But he's getting the fantasy points, though. He's not just playing. He is racking it up right now.
38 minutes last time out, 33 before that. He's 4.6K, but yeah, he's in the conversation. Not a fun roster, not fun to watch either. He's got that weird, like that old school, like baby hook shot down in the paint.
And we had him at 16 minutes anymore. Better go ahead and change that. 35 at least.
We had him projected for 16 minutes. Well, I guess the Wendell Carter thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Jason Tatum? Jason Tatum's he's expensive, 11-1. Smart's probably the better dollar for dollar play. Jaylen Brown, his minutes, so we're projecting 34, so basically full minutes for him. I don't love that Robert Williams minute projection at 24. I figured he would get higher than that. That seems a little bit low for me, but stay tuned. Maybe that'll get adjusted.
I don't think we need to play either of those guys. I don't think we need to play either. 11-1 is too much for Tatum. 9-9 is too much for Brown. I think I think we've just got too many cheap guys on tonight's slate that's going to pick up. I mean, we've probably got, dare I say, Dean, 5 to 10 guys in the cheap range that can get 40 tonight if everything breaks their way. And when I say cheap, I'm saying anywhere from 4K or 3,800 to maybe 6K or so, or cheap to mid-range, that I think can put up 40 fantasy points, some of them maybe more. I just don't see the value in playing Jason Tatum at 11-1 and Jaylen Brown at 38, even for the raw points with both of them playing. Now, if one or the other was out
with you. Yeah. Well, you can't take the salary with you. Like if you're going to play all these cheap plays, and we're going to talk about it in a second, like the Cam Reddish and Gorgie Jang and DeLon.
Yeah, I know, but still, like I'd rather play Drew Holiday at 9,600 than Jaylen, or 9,400 than Jaylen Brown at 99.
That's expensive. But yeah. Holiday.
But you get my point. Like Holiday is going to have, he's got a much, in my opinion, easier opportunity to eclipse 50, where Jaylen Brown, I don't see it tonight against Cleveland, and what still could be a blowout for Boston. I'm just not interested in Brown and Tatum at these prices.
Luke Cornett,
like for instance,
Anderson, Trey Scott, all. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like for instance, I'd absolutely, which is what everybody else is going to do. You just play Tyrese Halliburton at 8,200 and get your 45 or 50. And I can avoid Jaylen Brown and Tatum, because I still need salary. I mean, there's no secret. We all want to pay up for one main stud. And
so you're big guy in Denver?
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's the right play, right? That is the right play. Like his floor of probably 50 fantasy points is better than Tatum's floor of 35 fantasy points. And let me check. Well, I was close, 33.9. So, and guess what? I didn't even notice that Jokic had a floor of 50. I was just kind of talking just based on, we've been in this a while.
That's crazy.
Yes, his floor is 50.4. That's his floor. So, I'd much rather take, air quotes, the risk of Jokic at 12.6 versus any of Tatum, Paul George, or Jaylen Brown at their respective prices. And I'm absolutely not playing Darius Garland at 97.
Yeah, I can't do that either. And we'll talk about John Collins in a second. John Collins seems like it's an absolute smash as well. The last good player for Atlanta standing, basically. And we don't know about Bogdanovich. He's currently questionable as well. You got anything else as far as Cleveland and Boston, or shall we move on and talk about Orlando and Atlanta, which you've kind of sort of talked about to some degree so far, but we can polish that up some more.
I'm good, man. Let's ride.
All right. Orlando is in Atlanta. Atlanta still has plenty of bodies. At this game, they keep falling, but they're not in danger of getting canceled just yet as far as this game. And Orlando's got a bunch of dudes too, like some you haven't heard of, a lot of them probably. 208.5 is the total. Atlanta is an 8-point favorite here. Let's just kind of run this down really quickly. We talked about for Orlando, just ruled out was Cole Anthony and Wendell Carter. Mo Wagner still out. Terrence Ross, Mo Bamba, Twan Moore, Michael Mulder, who played 25, 30 minutes last game. TJ Hampton. For Atlanta, no Trae Young, number one usage guy. Lou Williams, he's happy to chuck. Nope, he's not playing. TLC, Solomon Hill, DeAndre Hunter still out. Gallinari, another guy, a willing shooter. Nope, not playing. Kevin Huerter, another willing shooter. Nope, not playing. Our current projected starting lineup, and we have Bogdanovich that's questionable. So we currently have, that's interesting. We have Okongwu starting at the 5, and that's a tricky one because we could see Collins start at the 5. I don't know which way that's going to go. Okongwu still coming, they're probably bringing him back slowly. Just came back from injury, however you want to say it, lottery pick, who played pretty well last year down the stretch when he was available. We have Wright starting, who I think is just going to eat a ton of minutes. Bogdanovich, if he plays, looks like a really, really good play. Actually, I got to give this a refresh. That's my bad because it has Huerter in there, and he definitely is not out. Okay, so we have Reddish jumping in the starting lineup. That makes sense. And then John Collins, and then Okongwu starting, and
on a minutes limit, though. On a minutes limit.
Yeah, and again, there's a chance Collins starts at the 5. That wouldn't shock me either.
Or Gorgie Jing.
Yeah, Collins at the 4 and Deng at the 5. Yes. And he's traditionally a good fantasy point minute player as well, too.
Yes, he is.
He's super, super cheap. And, you only need so many cheapies to make stuff work. I want to see what Deng in the season.
Dean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think you can leave some, possibly, it's possible. I'm not saying it's actual, I'm saying it's possible. Personally, I still don't think you need to leave like 2,000 on the table. I don't think you need to do that.
No.
But I think there will be some situations where you get in these cheap guys that you like, because I don't care about the amount of salary I leave. I care about whether or not I think the guys are going to perform the way I need them to perform to win, right? So, and here's why I'm bringing this up. A $7,600 Franz Wagner could absolutely outscore a $9,900 Jaylen Brown tonight from a fantasy points perspective. Wagner only played, I think, 28 points in the last game when 28 minutes, when he's usually playing upper 30s. He played 28 and put up 39.25 fantasy points. Dean, if he played 35 minutes, he absolutely probably puts up close to 50 or is at 50, right? So I'm just giving that caveat to say, you know, there are going to be some guys that I think we want to get in, like Wagner, you know, like John Collins, right? So you take those two and they're already in the 7K range, but it's so worth it to get them in. Let me ask you this, Dean, from a theory perspective, right?
Uh-huh.
The stud that you need to play is Nikola Jokic. Like, that's not a secret to anyone, right?
Well, the interesting thing is, like, he's not like a lock for optimals the way this slate is built.
And that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. Like, the stud, if you were going to play a stud, it would be Jokic. But when you really start breaking it down, you say, okay, we've got John Collins projected for almost 40, but his upside tonight is probably 50. Let's go. He can get more than 50. I'm saying reasonably, I think his upside is 50, right? You've got Franz Wagner, who will probably end up projecting for, I'm going to go out on a limb and say 37 fantasy points, like official projections, but he's probably got upside for 50. And then you've got a DeLon Wright and Cam Reddish, you know, a few other cheap guys who on tonight's slate, DeLon Wright's probably got upside for 40 because of the peripherals. He's not going to score 25 real points, but he might have 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals, a block, and you look at the end of the night, he's got almost a triple-double, right? So he's probably got upside for 40. Cam Reddish has probably got upside for 35, 40. Hey,
and not to cut you off, Will, but on scores and odds tonight, I wrote up several things about Wright, betting him over 9.5 points. I felt really good about that. I think it was 14.5 points. You get it like at 5-1. I really like that as well. Traditionally, I think he's a great scorer, but you know, I love those odds. 50-1. I got him at a triple double. 50-1, just a pinch. Kevin Malone style, man. If anybody offers you 50-1 in anything, take it. And double, I think it was like 5.5-1 or something like that. This was before the news for Bogdanovich, but like,
you had to get it in.
He's gonna hold the ball a lot. Like, he's not this guy. He's not gonna shoot a ton. And I could see like a 12-8-9, you know, 12-12-7, that kind of line.
Hey, either way, you're gonna make some money tonight. Either way,
I hope so.
You're going to make some money tonight. Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah. And then you've got Robin Lopez, who his ceiling is probably 40, right? But him getting 38 to 40 fantasy points tonight will help you get Bogdanovich and some of these other guys. And then, you know, you head on down. And I'm not trying to hop around the slate. I'm just saying you got Drew Holiday, who could possibly put up 50 plus. You got Boogie Cousins, who could get you 35. And so at the end you got Halliburton, who can get you 45. You start looking and you say, well, wait a minute. It may be more advantageous for me to have 3 or 4 7 to 8K guys and sprinkle in the value than to soak it all up with Jokic while he's got an 80-point ceiling. If he scores 80, you just have to say, hey, man, good job. You got me, right? But if he ends up 60 to 65, you can absolutely overcome that with 4 really high upside quality plays with the cheap guys. So anyway,
let me just address that really quickly because I just ran 100 optimals on both DraftKings and on FanDuel. This is assuming Bogdanovich is in, for the record. I ran 100 optimals, and on DraftKings, Jokic is in 66% of them. Right? By the way, I capped it at 85%, no more than 85%. John Collins, 85%, because of course, like kind of your point as far as the mid to upper tier. And on FanDuel, where like Jokic is a center only, and that's that. You can only pick one. And Robin Lopez is center only, and that's that. You can only pick one. we got 47% for Jokic and 27% for Lopez. And like for the record, Jokic, our projection on FanDuel is 60, which probably it might be a little low against OKC. And like we've seen some squirrely things happen with him, like foul trouble and blowouts and ejections, which have like kind of pushed his numbers down lately, and he's still smashed. And then we have Gorgie Deng as well, who's another guy we'll talk about in a second. As far as Atlanta, I think he's just center eligible. I assume he's just center eligible on FanDuel. Does he get it? Yeah, he doesn't get the power forward, I don't think. And he's another guy.
He's center only on DK, so my assumption is he's probably center only on FanDuel. But
so it's that fork in the road.
Yeah.
Kevin Love is a game time decision. Thank you for that as far as the update. But you mentioned Wagner. We haven't projected around 33 points, but he certainly he can crack 40. Like
even after the Anthony and Wendell Carter Jr. update?
Yeah. That's all baked in. We got Okiki with 31 fantasy points. The price is
I'm actually shocked at that, Dean, because his minutes just happened to be down that last game. Like he absolutely was going for 40 plus if he played his normal allotment of minutes. He was about 7 minutes, almost a full rotation short in that last game against Brooklyn. So I'm really
taking up
I'm going to disagree with our projections team on this one. I think 33 is too low. I think 35 to 37 should be the median for this spot. But hey, like I said, our guys are top notch. I'm just saying, I think he goes for closer to 40 than 30, 33, if that makes sense.
I said this yesterday, Will, and I was like, we only point out the rare occasion where we disagree. And it's like, we never say, I agree with 98% of the stuff you're doing. Good job. Like the 2%, it's like, I don't know. Maybe you're wrong there. Just a guess. Maybe I'm wrong. I certainly could be wrong too.
Yeah, but, and look, and everybody knows that's not a knock on our projections team. Because I agree with you 99.9% of the time. Today's my 0.1% for the year where I will disagree with the Franz Wagner projection. And that's okay. And you know what? Let me go in and look, because it may just be a minutes thing, right? It could be as simple as I think he's going to play 35 minutes and they think he's going to play 32 minutes, as an example.
We got 35. We got 35, and the rates are a little bit low. Like I agree. If he plays 35 minutes, I would take the over on 32, 33 fantasy points. I'm with you on that.
Cool.
But let's talk about the Atlanta side again. Jumping back to my optimals that I ran. We're looking at 3 to 5 Hawks jumping at optimals on DraftKings.
But it's the right thing for optimals.
Yeah, and also again, the Bogdanovich thing is up in the air. Who knows? Right now, he's a good play because we're assuming he's in. You got to pick a stand. We're saying he's in. If he's not, things change. Yada yada. As far as the Atlanta side, who is your favorite pieces? How do you prioritize them? We already talked about Collins being a fabulous play. If Bogdanovich plays fabulous, Wright and Reddish. I think it's those 4, and then like Gorgie Deng becomes interesting. Probably a little bit more interesting on DK because you can have more than one center. FanDuel, you're taking a stand, man, and you could possibly be missing out on a big opportunity cost of other center. A guy like Jokic. If Jokic puts up 75 and Deng puts up 30, I don't know how you're going to make up those 50 points, even though Deng did good in a vacuum, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think my favorites are everyone else's favorites. DeLon Wright, and maybe I have these guys over projected, Dean. Like that's absolutely possible. But I'm going to have DeLon Wright projected for 35 to 40. Maybe I'll split the difference and say 38, and maybe he comes in a little bit over, a little bit under. But Cam Reddish, I'm probably going to project him for around 28 to 32 fantasy points tonight. John Collins, I've actually got my John Collins projection at 45 fantasy points to start, and we've got him at around 40. So but I'm building for upside. You get what I'm saying? Like.
It would be higher, by the way, just throwing it out there. If he starts at the 5, I would boost him a little bit. Just he's better at the 5. You don't know if he's starting at the 5. He may not. If you get how much 5 he does get. But yeah, just they do have some they have some girth there with Okongwu, and they have Deng as well, the gorgeous Dong. Yeah. So I don't know how much they need him to play 5. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, for sure. I will say this. My favorite game on the slate is Orlando Atlanta. And it was my favorite game last night in the morning grind. It hasn't changed. I will be fully stacking this game. And by full stacking, I mean I'm probably going to have Harris, Wagner, Lopez, Wright, Collins, Reddish, something like that, or Wright, Collins, Jang. Like I'm gonna have a full stack of this game. Like
you could still get one more good piece, right? I'm just doing the math in my head that those players are cheap enough where I think you can still get another good piece around.
Other
games.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, you got to think it's only the two most expensive guys are $7K, mid $7K. So yeah, see, like right now we've got, even after that news, we've got Collins projected for 42, which is a lot closer to what I think now. So there you go. Do that. You take Franz Wagner, get him, and I'll tell you exactly where we are, Dean, just in case people are listening. They want to kind of get an idea. I am now plugging in DeLon Wright. I'm about to plug in Gary Harris, who Dean, that might, I guess.
As you're doing that, I want to tell the people, hey, you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like button, smash it, caress it, do whatever it takes to put that thumb up. We do appreciate that. Helps us out to defeat the old algorithm. Join the conversation with us over at rotogrinders.com/Discord. We're in the live stream chat channel that is free. Whatever you want us to talk about, whatever we haven't talked about just yet, we're going to do our best to get out your questions. Devin is going to be pulling those questions and joining the show later on. We got to do this quickly, Will. We've yammered on so much about these first two games. Now, all of a sudden, guess what? We're behind on time.
I think these are the most important
games, too. Yeah, this is an important game to talk about.
We'll be
as far as the Orlando side, the thing is, Okiki's not 3K anymore. Harris is not 3K anymore. Lopez is not 3K anymore. So now they're no longer these smash plays. Like Okiki's fine, Harris is fine, Lopez is fine.
But they are still smash plays, Dean.
Well, the price has adjusted. When you consider the nature of the slate, they're not a smash play over the Atlanta guys. The Atlanta guys are more smash than Orlando, is the point I'm making. No?
Maybe. I think there's still meat on the bone for Wagner. Wagner and Collins, to me, are equal. Like, they're equal plays to me. And believe it or not, DeLon Wright and Robin Lopez, to me, are equal.
Well, Wright is a better position for me. Just kind of building stuff.
I get it.
That matters.
Yeah, for sure. I totally get that. And then now there's no 3K guys on Orlando anymore unless you're going to play that other guy. What's his name?
Gravette?
Yeah, unless you're going to play Gravette. He put up 20 fantasy points, 20 to 25. I don't think that's enough. I definitely think Cam Reddish outscores him straight up if Bogdanovich is out, right? Like if Bogdanovich were to sit, Cam Reddish, he's probably the play of all plays tonight. But all in all, I still think I think a stack of this game is like big time in play tonight, like big time.
All right. If you all missed it, the Toronto-Chicago game has been canceled. Let's go ahead and talk about Denver and OKC. 213 is the total. Denver is a 6-point favorite. Nikola Jokic, you've referenced him several times. They made him 12.6K on DK. Whatever. I will pay that happily. No big deal. Smash spot. We talked about it several times. If you look at the old game log, it's not been incredible for him by his standards. But again, he's been kicked out of games. He got into foul trouble. There were blowouts, so he didn't play in the fourth quarter, and he's still putting up big numbers. Matchup against OKC, obviously, really, really solid as well. I don't really love anybody else on Denver, just as a general thought. Now, it is worth noting Aaron Gordon's questionable with a hamstring, to Michael Green questionable with an ankle. So they do have some bodies out. OKC pretty much fully healthy. Mike Muscala is just going to chill. He's going to rest, and Trey Mann is questionable with a toe. I don't love anybody on the OKC side. Can you sprinkle in some SGA or some Dort? Whatever. You can do that if you want to. You're an adult. But, I can't get excited about anybody in OKC. This one's pretty quick and easy. It's Jokic. You could, what else do you like in this game, if anything?
That's why I wasn't worried about it, Dean. You think we're behind, and this is the catch-up game of all catch-up games. You scratch off the OKC players. You play Nikola Jokic from Denver. You move on.
What if Gordon and Green don't play? Do we still just not care? Like, in theory,
maybe Bones Highland, but I don't think he's going to be more valuable than Cam Reddish. If Bogdanovich is out, like that's the last domino to drop, I think, with Atlanta. So I know we're done with that game, but if Bogdanovich is out, I mean, man.
It's not done with us. We may be done with it, but it's not done with us. Something's definitely going to happen, probably on crunch time with Andy Means. But stay tuned as far as that Bogdanovich can sprinkle can definitely affect.
OKC's got like 21 guys active, so you just scratch them off. It's not 21, but they it's a lot of bodies. Yeah.
They have a lot of people. If you want to play SGA, especially if you're mass multi entering, of course you can play some. But like he's not anything that's jumping off the page. He doesn't have this great price or anything. And that's, we've seen Giddey have some awesome games too, but he's 7.8K now on DK. Like that's pretty steep, man. It's pretty steep. 7K on FanDuel. But in tournaments, can he get there? Of course he can. Yeah. Anything else to say about this game, or shall we move on?
Oh man, that's it. Let's ride.
Houston at Milwaukee. Milwaukee is a 10-point favorite here. 224 is the total. Houston, Christian Wood questionable. I think again, it's not. I feel like he's more likely to play than not. Jalen Green expected to play with his hamstring. Of course, Milwaukee is without Bobby Portis and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Drew Holiday has been crushing, but the price has adjusted. It's probably the most expensive he's been the entire season. I want to say 9.4 on DK, 9.6 on FanDuel. Man, that is expensive. But again, the matchup is awesome. The usage should be there. They do play tomorrow night and they travel, and then they have a Christmas game. Just a heads up, man. Tomorrow night, if you can get anything on like props wise, just hammer all the Milwaukee guys before the news breaks out, because something goofy is going to happen. I know DFS only care about today and today only, but they're going to pull back several players, I think, on the road. I can't remember. They're come on, man. These guys, and I think their home game. I think their Christmas games at home. I'm not certain of that, but assuming
aren't they playing Brooklyn?
Man, I checked this before the show, and because I was talking to somebody else about it, and I'm like,
I think they're playing Brooklyn Christmas.
Oh no, they're playing they're playing Dallas tomorrow. And of course Dallas lost Luka again. He's in the COVID protocol now. He's going to be out anyway, but it's just going to be interesting. If you can get some stuff, you might be able to get like an arbitrage situation before the Milwaukee news, which I think is going to happen for tomorrow night's game. But tonight, how do you feel about the Bucks? Is there speaking of meat in the bone? Is there meat in the bone for Holiday at that exorbitant price?
I think so, especially because he's playing Houston. Now, I think the pullback is DeMarcus Cousins is playing and Chris Middleton is playing. They both are playing. So, maybe that's caused to pause a little bit where you say, 9,400, maybe it's a little bit expensive, right? Like, do you think he gets 45? Yeah. Is that valuable enough on the slate? Probably, with all the other value you're going to get. Like, if he puts up 45, that's probably okay on this slate because of the distribution of salary. But, is he a little bit expensive? Probably, but I still think he's in play.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm pulling up our projections right now as far as that game. That's basically, we have Holiday projected for 47 on DK, which like on a big slate, theoretically, 9.4, it's fine. We have middle, and again, something might happen with tonight. Wouldn't surprise me. It's Milwaukee. We've seen it several times this year. And also they're playing Houston. Like they know they're playing against Houston. They probably don't need both Holiday and Middleton. Just saying. Stay tuned. Yeah. Don't make any plans. So don't go to Bloomingdale's or whatever your plans are later this evening, or Carrabba's.
Whatever I'm getting off this show and I'm headed out with the missus. So I'll just be but listen, I will say, man, she's just so fantastic. Like no, she's not watching. She's not even here. She went to take something to her sister. But what I will say is this, and sorry to hog up the time because I know we're running out, but she knows when I've got to work during this period. So if we have to go somewhere, I'll be working in the car. So she drives.
Available to play. Didn't mean to cut you off, but that's important.
Cool. No, that's important. A lot more important than my story. Trust me. So Bogdanovich in, great. But what she'll do is, if we're leaving around this time, right after a show or something, I'll take my stuff and work in the car while we're driving there. And then she knows, okay, after 7, like I'm still monitoring my phone maybe while we're walking around. But then once everything's kind of settled, then I'll drive back home.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Secondary pieces on Milwaukee, right? We touched on Holiday and Middleton, both really solid players, assuming nothing goofy happens. You mentioned Boogie Cousins. He's up to 4.4K.
Middleton at 8,200, at 8,300.
Yeah, I
don't trust it. Like, even if he gets 40, like, I know we've got plenty of salary tonight.
Well, 40 at 8K versus 45 for 9K for Holiday, and it's kind of the same thing. Like,
but what I'm saying is, I feel like Holiday is more likely to get there. Like, I feel like Chris Middleton could easily him at 35, where I feel like Holiday absolutely gets to 45. You get what I'm saying? I'm saying I feel better about Holiday than Chris Middleton at 8,300 with DeMarcus Cousins there now. You know, that's pretty much what I'm saying. Like if DeMarcus Cousins wasn't there and it was old school throwback Holiday Middleton show with kind of like no help, I'm much more intrigued.
How do you feel about Cousins? Cousins in comparison to guys like Gorgie Dang and Robin Lopez. That's kind of his competition today.
Well, it depends on so I think for DFS purposes, we allow DeMarcus Cousins to rest on his laurels, so to speak, right? Like we know the upside is there. And when I'm talking about upside, I'm talking about what he did the other night with 41 fantasy points, right? Now, that was 5 steals included. Don't get me wrong. I see the box score, but he also still had 12 rebounds, which is normal when he gets a full workload. So, and they're playing Houston. So I think he's right up there with them. I think he can get 35 to 40 tonight.
27 minutes as well, which is the most we've seen all season long. Yeah, I just don't know. His minutes can be.
Robin Lopez probably has more stable minutes.
Correct. Agree. But Cousins is probably a better fantasy point minute player than Lopez.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
well, maybe not though, because this season
quantity versus quality.
Yeah.
It's the balance you have to deal with for sure. And Dang's another guy like who knows how fragile his minutes may or may not be. Of course, if Dang draws to start, it becomes more interesting. If not, then maybe you're begging for 22, but he can get there in 22 minutes as well. As far as the Houston side, like nothing is really popping except for Christian Wood on FanDuel specifically, where he's got a pretty good price at 8.2K. I guess he's playable, short 21%, and he's also questionable. We don't know if he's going to play or not. Stay tuned for that. But otherwise, Tate a little bit, Green's coming back. We're expecting him to play. Well, wait, do we not have Green officially in? I thought Green is officially in. Am I making that up? Was he not confirmed to play? Is he not in the projections? Wait, what did I miss as far as Green? I thought for certain, okay. I don't know how much that matters because they have Gordon and Brooks and, Harrison and Christopher and Augustin. So they have plenty of guys. Nobody's really popping on DK for the record for Houston players. And I agree with that.
I see Jalen Green out in the situation room, by the way.
I thought for sure. Did the Underdog Fantasy blog or did it lie to me? Unbelievable. Christian Wood, by the way, likely to play. Thank you, Devin, for jumping in. And Trey Mann is available for what it's worth. Don't really care too much about that. Let's move on. Let's talk about the hammer before we bring Devin on with the questions that are coming in the Discord there at Rotogrinders. Again, if you guys are not aware, fire up for questions. Rotogrinders.com/Discord. Find the live chat channel. The hammer tonight, that is the Clippers at the Kings. 218.5 is the total. The Kings are 4-point dogs. Clippers, kind of a big deal. They're without several pieces. Reggie Jackson's not playing. Luke Kennard's not playing. No Hartenstein. No Marcus Morris. For the Kings, Davion Mitchell still out. Fox, Bagley, Davis, Len, all still out. Rashad Holmes, questionable / on track to play with his eye. All right. Well, Paul George is another piece that can definitely rise. Nice matchup here against Sacramento. You've seen Halliburton just turn into full-fledged stud in the absence of everybody. He's been awesome. The price is up. I still don't care. I think he's still really, really payable. Your thoughts as far as this game? What's the first thing you like?
Yeah, I think it's Halliburton along with the other 33% of lineups, at least projected the last time I saw. I think this is a big-time spot. Now, I talked about the fact that if I was going to pay up for a stud, I would want to get to Jokic. But, Paul George is down a few more bodies now with the matchup against Sacramento. If you were ever going to play him at 10-9, this is the spot. Like if you were hoping you could get 60 fantasy point Paul George, you got to try at least against the Sacramento Kings. Don't we, Dean? Like we're not going to try this against Denver. We're not going to try this against Cleveland. We might not even try it against the Lakers, even though they're not playing great defense. But against this Sacramento team, I would have some shares of Paul George in a multi-entry bill for sure.
I just did a Google search. Google's telling me Jalen Green is available to return tonight. I'm losing my mind over here. Doesn't matter, but it's still bothering me. Sorry. I was trying to listen to you, but at the same time, I'm like, I know I saw he was in.
Dean, you don't have to listen. This is for the people. I'm a man of the people. This is their information, not our information.
I want to be respectful, though. I don't want to not listen to
you. I know.
As far as ownership specifically on DK, like you mentioned, you kind of referenced Halliburton currently projected for 30% ownership, and I agree with that number. He's 8.2K, but don't care. 44 fantasy point projection. Again, we talk about him just basically running the show, playing a pile of minutes. Some minutes opening up for the LA side for a guy like Bledsoe. We're projecting 32, Man 35. Again, a lot of their pieces are missing this evening. I'm okay with both of those. I'm not thrilled. I'm not enthralled. But, Man at 5'6", 5'4", for Bledsoe has been kind of up and down all season, probably more down than up. The Buddy Hield price is not so nice, 6.9K on DK. Like, he can get there, sure, but like I liked him a lot more. It was even when he was in the fives. Now he's 6'9", but again, he's going to play, 36 to 40 minutes. Rashawn Holmes coming back would muck up guys like Tristan Thompson and maybe Metu to some extent as well, but we currently project him Metu for 33 minutes and Holmes for 27. Holmes basically, he's going to play the 5, so Metu would basically stick to the 4 as well. Other guys, the peripheral pieces, I threw out a bunch of names there, Will. Terrence Mann, Batum should play 25 minutes. Harry Barnes going to play a lot of minutes, but the price has adjusted. 7-1 on DK. Fine, I guess. Don't love it. Much better 6-1 on FanDuel.
Don't like it. Get my Michael Scott on. Don't like it.
Fair enough. Amongst the guys I threw out there, who is most interesting to you?
None of them.
Yeah. Really? You don't like any? Okay, fair enough.
I don't want these secondary pieces. Halliburton, Paul George. That's it. Like I don't see where these other secondary pieces. It's DFS. Anything can happen. I don't see where these other secondary pieces are going to outscore the cheaper pieces in these earlier games from Orlando, from Atlanta, maybe Milwaukee. Maybe some of these guys from Cleveland. I don't see anybody out of this game outscoring those guys straight up. So
let's bring Devin on. Go ahead. You have another point. Go ahead. I wanted to make sure.
So I'm just saying that they don't get the stamp of approval. They're canceled.
Devin, we got 5 minutes before you step aside and make way for crunch time for premium members. Hopefully we've goaded enough people to join. It's a free channel, man. Join the Discord channel over there. Plenty of free Discord channels here at Rotogrinders. If you guys aren't premium members, there are some premium channels, but the free one, we want you all to hang out with us and talk to us during the show, is the, I'm pulling it up now, rotogrinders.com/Discord live stream chat. Of course, you can join Chiefs. Why do I always forget the name
Prop
of your
shop.
room team?
Prop shop, Dean.
The prop shop. Good Lord.
Just look for the fire emoji. Just look for the one where everybody wins money.
That's where everybody's at, boy. That's why nobody's hanging out in the live stream chat, because they're all hanging out in Chiefs prop shop. But yeah.
By the way, Dean, you're getting a lot better about giving me more time to be able to hop on the show in time. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I got some questions. We got some regular friends in chat. Flores, Mark, Showboat King, Hammer. You all know who you are.
Showboat. Yeah. What's up, man?
Well, let's get to some questions.
Hammer.
We kind of touched on this kind of throughout the show, but Alexander was asking who are some of our favorite bets tonight, and so to use a couple of terms Dean's familiar with, bets that maybe you're a little enthralled or thrilled by.
Go ahead, Chief.
Anything Gary Harris right now, because the markets are not going to adjust. They're probably going to move him a point or two. I think the most he gets to is probably 14.5. on any sports book. And if you give me a second, gosh, I got
a couple if you need me to go.
Go ahead, Dean. You go ahead.
I'm not going to read off the whole thing. Get scores and odds. It's worth it. Myself, a pile of other people, Andy and
they're piling up in there.
There's a lot of people that contribute. I'm just a small part of it. But Carlucci likes Halliburton over 29 points, rebounds, and assists. I like that as well. I talked about DeLon Wright. I'm not sure if this number has changed, but I liked him over 9.5 points tonight. I thought it'd be fun to bet him for a double-double at 5.5 to 1, and I thought it'd be really, really fun if you want. If you're feeling
I'm so smart,
feeling funky. Triple-double is 50 to 1 over there on FanDuel. But what do you have, Will?
Yeah, this Gary Harris. I told you I think he wouldn't get past 14.5. Sportsbooks for sure. DK specifically, DK Sportsbook, 14.5 at plus 105. Lock button.
This is why he's got a prop shop channel, ladies and gentlemen.
This is why I don't.
Hammering.
Drew Holiday over 19.5 points is a really, really good bet as well. If that number is still there, he's 19 on Prize Picks. Last I checked, maybe that adjusted.
He's probably it's probably about the same. Yeah, I figured 20.5 on the sports books. You can get them.
He was 19 all day. Yeah.
20.5 on the sports books. You can get them even on DK or BetMGM. Over 19.5 on PointsBet though. That's tasty.
It might be Wednesday, but we might have Taco Tuesday today. I don't know if you guys just got that last notification for Jared Allen. Taco Fall will start.
Wait,
wow.
Oh, Taco Fall starting for Cleveland?
That is interesting.
It's a revenge game too.
So are they bringing Kevin Love off the bench?
It's an honorary Tuesday.
Or is he just not going to play?
That could be telling, actually.
Oh man, we're gonna let Andy handle that one.
Yeah, right.
All
right, we'll
we got a minute to go.
We got a minute to go. We're gonna run through some questions real quick. Anthony wants to know: is it Sharif Cooper season?
I don't know who that is. So he plays for the
point
Hawks,
guard for the Hawks. Yes, I think his latest
I
update went up.
know.
I think he was at 16 minutes projected on our projections.
It's the DeLon Wright show, I think.
All right, we'll blaze through these. Flores, Mark, DK tournament thoughts on Middleton and Holiday versus Houston. Do you think that game blows out?
I do, but I still like Holiday. I'm not as in. Was that a Dean question? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm not thrilled about Middleton, but that's just me.
All right.
Where's the taco note, by the way? I don't see a taco note about taco
It's
starting.
in our Slack. Or I mean, our Slack. It's our RG notifications. I have a channel in Slack that I'm subscribed to.
Jeez.
So I know when it
You're
gets
in the
pushed.
secret chat?
Oh, I'm in the secret RG notifications chat that everyone else is subscribed to. All right, I'm going to run through a couple of names, tournaments. All right. Just give me 1 through 5 rating from each of you for these guys, all right?
5's good.
5 is good. Time Lord.
3.5.
4.
Rolo versus Cousins.
There's no number, really.
Changing the format on question 2.
Both are at a 5 for me for what it's worth.
All right.
At 5.
Any love for Cam Reddish?
5.
Yeah.
Will Barton.
1.
Let's see. Somebody was worried. Ramazan was worried. I'd worry that Jokic doesn't play the fourth quarter. Do you agree? Disagree? Do you think he gets there?
I mean, it's a 5.5 point line. If you're going to worry about that game, worry about every game. If you're going to worry about the blowout, first of all, just bet Denver if you think that's the case. Hammer Denver if you think they're going to blow out OKC. And if they do blow them out, guess what? Jokic is going to put up 70.
Probably going to be there.
3 quarters.
All right.
I'm not worried about it.
And I think that's about all the time we have. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Go ahead and take us home, Dean.
That was producer Devin. Thanks to y'all watching there on the old YouTube. Do hit that like button on your way out. We appreciate that. Again, if you want to watch premium, get yourself some premium, $10 off your first month. We'll go ahead and put that link in our Discord if you guys, one of the free channels. Otherwise, that wouldn't make any sense because you guys are already premium members. That was Will, Chief. Check out his prop shop, which is free as well on the Discord channel. Producer Devin, that was basketball. I was Dean. We're out of here. Holler!